Okay, so I'm Amanda, and this is my friend Ashley, and we are going to do something different today. We're trying this for the very first time, so this is going to be a little experimental, and we're going to see how this goes. But essentially, what I wanted to do today was I wanted to invite Ashley on with me and to do some trance channeling with her in person, like over Zoom. And so Ashley prepared a topic that she came up with that she wants to find out more information about and that she's really curious about and some questions. And I'm going to invite Archangel Metatron through, and he is going to just do back and forth Q&A with Ashley and just answer any questions that she has. And we're just going to see how this goes.
Yeah, so my topic or the question I wanted to ask was, why do humans think they're inherently unworthy? And I chose this question because just throughout life, I've come across a lot of really talented, special, unique, kind people who, when they're given praise or when they have, achieve something or they reach a goal, they don't feel like they deserve it, or like they feel like almost like shame or guilt of having achieved something. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because like we're conditioned to think like, oh, that's bragging if you're happy that you did something like that, or someone complimented you. And for me, I don't think it should be that way. I think everyone should be proud of themselves and not feel bad about it. And I want to know if there's like a deeper meaning to that or a reason.
And I love this topic too because I deal with a ton of imposter syndrome. Even though I worked as a personal trainer and nutrition coach for 15 years, and even despite all my education and all my work experience, I still felt out of depth a lot of the time. And it's like, really, like, why? Why is this something that I'm still struggling with? And so I really resonate with that. I do want to just like talk about how we know each other
Okay.
because we go way back.
We do. It's been, I mean, I don't count because I feel like I've known you forever and you've been in my
Yeah,
life for such a long time, but I guess since high school, like
yeah,
ish, probably, right? Like probably
yeah,
the end of high school, like towards,
yeah.
yeah, and we've I feel like we've like not, I would say, we've grown up together, I would
No,
say.
we definitely have.
A lot
Yeah,
of like pivotal moments in our lives, in our like adulthood, from teenager to like, our 30s, like
yeah, yeah.
um yeah, through lots of ups and downs in life and different jobs and countries and yeah,
So you're a
adventure.
very special person to me.
You're a special person to me.
So I'm really excited to do this.
Me too. I'm
So
always excited to
I'm,
do stuff like this with you.
yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna get into the zone, bring him forward, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Hello, Ashley. I am here to answer any of your questions today. What can I do for you?
Hi, hello. I wanted to ask about, why do humans think they're inherently unworthy?
Do you have a particular question about this topic?
Um, One of my questions was, how can some people grow to believe that they are worthy and some don't?
Well, this is a very fascinating question. And I think we have to back it up just a little bit. When you are born into this world, you know that you are inherently worthy. You are born pure love and pure light, and your connection to source is still intact. And as you go through life, you observe the people around you. You observe the adults in your life and the other participants that are there to watch over you. And you observe them and you take in how they are interacting with their environment. And through your observations, you see things other than love. You see pain, you see shame, you see fear, you see doubt and guilt, and all of these other emotions that you had not known when you had entered this place. And as you observe the people in your life struggling through these emotional experiences, you decide that you, in some capacity, must also feel some of these things, and you absorb the emotional experiences of those people around you. And this shapes the way that you view yourself and the way that you view the world around you. And it is through these experiences of life and of love and of opportunity that you begin to change your perception of who you are. And this perception is simply an illusion. It is not real. It is not who you really are. But this perception, this illusion becomes your reality. It creates a veil of distortion that you begin to believe in. And the longer that you believe it, the longer that this veil stays intact over your true vision of who you truly are deep down, this is how you show up in the world. This is how you see yourself and the people around you. And this becomes your reality as a byproduct. And the longer you spend in this illusion, the more real it becomes, and it becomes the truth through which you see yourself.
So is there a way to like unlearn those things?
Yes. Yes. There is always a way to unlearn what you have learned. The first step is to identify the illusion that is in front of you, the illusion that has been the veil over the truth of who you really are. And then once you can see that the illusion is there, then you can begin to break through it and create cracks in the armor that you have been wearing over your desperate attempt to feel loved by the people around you and the world around you. And you can realize that the answer has been within all along. And this takes time, and this takes self-reflection, and this takes true bravery to turn within and to begin to dismantle all of the preconceived notions that you've been holding about yourself. But this is the way. This is the answer to your question, which is, how do I begin to feel unconditional love? The unconditional love has never left you. It has been there all along, but the illusion has been blinding you from it. And once the illusion is gone, then your truth comes through.
So I know that that has to come from within. Like someone has, you have to start like, with the self-reflection and like do that work. But for someone who doesn't even know that they're doing it, how could I, for example, like help someone else, like hold up a mirror to them and ask or make them realize that, you are worthy and like start to do this work, but like try to like show them that. Is there like a role for an external person to play for someone?
I love this question because you ask, how can I be the mirror to the people around me? And I would like to reflect back at you that you are always their mirror, whether you realize it or not. The world around them is their mirror. Every single person that they meet in their life is their mirror, but they need to see it that way. They need to choose to see the reflection that these people around them are reflecting back at them. And so it is not your job to show other people where they have room to explore who they deeply are and the illusions that they have been living under. It is their job. And you, my friend, are their mirror always.
That's really cool. And then okay, another question I had was how do people, like you said, that we're all born like feeling worthy and then it's like unlearned because of the things that are around us. What kind of situation or environment does someone have to like stay in so that they stay in that worthiness, that they feel worthy their whole lives, and they don't like sway from that?
Well, your question implies that your worthiness can be changed or enhanced or removed in some capacity. And this is just not the case. Your worthiness is, whether you choose to see it or not, that is a different question. But your worthiness is never enhanced or reduced. It simply is. It is inherent. It is who you truly are. And so the job becomes not so much enhancing it or inflating it, but realizing it and feeling it for yourself, despite the reactions of the people around you, despite the scenarios that you might find yourself in, despite the feelings of the people around you who may not yet see how worthy they are. It is your job to turn within and feel your inherent wholeness, regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself in. And that is the work that is truly there for you. It is not through accomplishments that you realize your worth. It is through taking the time to sit with it and be with it and remember the truth of who you are, which is that you are love. You are absolute, complete wholeness and love. And that is never wavered. That is never taken from you. That is never enhanced. It is simply your state of being deep down. And the job for many of you on earth at this time is to see that within you and to notice the dissonance between how you feel and how you can feel. And how you can feel is pure, unconditional love and acceptance, but that will not be achieved from any achievement or any goal or any acquiring of relationships or assets. It can only be realized through time with it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, like yes, sort of. It's about more like maintaining the belief that you are worthy, as opposed to when you see like shame and guilt around you, be like thinking like, oh, maybe I should feel like that too. But it's more of a like holding on to it, not enhancing it or anything, but just holding on to like that you are inherently worthy. So if I were to ask for like practical advice for someone who's like fallen away from that belief, how can you help someone like remember to hold on to that worthiness that they already are? Like a practical piece of advice or something.
Yeah. I would like to first say that there is no one or nothing that you can help in that way. It is up to each individual to be ready to remember who they really are and how it is possible to feel in their life. And some people will not be ready, even if you see their potential and they don't. That is difficult to stand by and watch them suffer when they don't necessarily need to. But everyone is on their own journey, and in their own time, they will recognize that something isn't right. And it may take time after time after time of being ignored or beaten down in order for them to see that something isn't right. And this is, again, the world reflecting back at them what they wish to finally recognize within themselves. And when somebody is ready to do the work, to remember the true potential that lies within them, they will seek out ways. And there are endless ways to do this. But at the core, it is taking time to sit with yourself, to sit with your feelings, to sit with your emotional experience, and taking the time and the space to do this is something that most humans are not willing to do because we keep ourselves busy on this planet, don't we? We have to fill every second of every day with activity because the activity distracts us from how we truly feel. And this is the obstacle that is getting in the way for most people. And so it is taking time to sit with how you feel and to recognize how you feel and to wonder about how you feel and to decide how you want to feel differently. It is as simple as that. Humans overcomplicate this much more than it needs to be, but it's as simple as sitting and reflecting and feeling and taking the time to do so.
And then it's just like if I were to do it for myself, or like if someone wants to do it for themselves, it's just like sitting, reflecting, and then reminding yourself like I am worthy type of thing.
Is that so difficult to understand? Is that so
No, I'm
difficult
just
to
asking
do?
if that's like the way, or if there's like
That
another
is the
practice or
way, my
something.
dear. That is the way. And it might feel uncomfortable at first. You will not be used to recognizing that within yourself. You have spent so long thinking the opposite, and it will feel uncomfortable to do. But it is as simple as that. It cannot come from outside of you. It must be you who reminds yourself over and over and over again, I am who I am. And who I am is love. And if someone shows me anything other than what I believe I am truly at my core, it is my choice to not be around this person or to sit in the knowing within myself and reflect back to them as their mirror, where they are not seeing the love within themselves.
And then what's like when I first introduced the topic, I asked about why some people might feel like guilt specifically or shame specifically when they're given praise or when they achieve a goal.
This comes down to their upbringing and the people that they were surrounded by early in life who shaped their belief systems. And they observed the people around them and how these people interacted with their environment and responded to their environment. And they learned those responses from the people around them. And those responses became their truth and became the illusion that has blocked them from recognizing their truth. It is as simple as that. It is a learned response from the environment around them, and it is up to them to see this illusion and rectify it for themselves.
And then can I ask you a question that doesn't have to do with this topic?
You may ask me anything you desire to.
What is it? What's it like where you are? What does it look like?
I would like to respond to this question with a question.
Yeah.
What is it like when you get still with yourself?
Quiet,
And what do you feel when you get
like
quiet with yourself?
peaceful, warm, content.
This is you. This is who you are at your core. And when you strip away the, the illusion that has been formed around you from the time that you were born until now, you remember your essence and who you truly are. And this is what you will feel in wholeness when you depart this world. And it is not better than where you are now. It is not better than what you are feeling now. It is simply different. And you decided to have this experience of difference so that you could learn from this experience. And through this experience, find your way back.
Can I ask you another question that's off topic?
Absolutely.
Do you like speaking like through Amanda?
Amanda's not comfortable with this question.
I know, I thought she might not be.
Amanda is learning how to open herself up to new experiences and new vibrations and new ways of being. And she is still doubtful of her true abilities, and she is still not sure where this is all headed. And we keep reminding her that this is the point. She does not have to. And she will find her comfort level in time, and that there is safety in this not knowing, and there is safety in the self-doubt, and that those things are not problems. Those things are not blocking her from what she desires. In fact, they are the way towards what she desires. She is having trouble seeing it that way. And that is normal. That is to be expected. And that is her journey. But she will become more comfortable with this process. And as she does, she will find her groove, and she will find that it is through her ability to let go and to embrace all that is that she will find her true essence, which is unconditional love.
That's so nice. I think she's really good at this.
And you?
Am I good at this?
What is your hesitation?
About what?
Your hesitation to embrace the wholeness that you are.
I don't know. I never really thought of me not embracing my wholeness.
May I leave you with something to reflect on today?
Yeah, of course.
What is it that you deeply desire most in this world?
Think love.
And love can be found where?
Within and without, but it first should come from within.
Love is all around you. Love is within and without. And so, if your desire is to feel love, then how can you embrace everything within and without?
Just love myself more.
Love yourself more would require accepting yourself more. You see this?
Yeah.
The resistance that you feel around this, that is your answer.
That I feel a resistance?
Do you?
Sometimes, because I always think that, I don't know, I guess it's more validating if love comes from without you.
That is the illusion.
Yeah.
That is the illusion that the world has shown you. And it is your job in this lifetime to break free from that illusion and to find the true power that lies ahead of you, which is that this is not entirely true, and that the love that you so deeply desire is found first from within and then extends outside of you. But if you are only seeking it outside of you, there will always be a hole within you that cannot be satisfied.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does this feel complete to you? Is there anything else that I can assist you with today?
No, those are all my questions, and you even answered some extra ones for me.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for offering me this opportunity to speak with you today. And I'm sure there will be more opportunities in the future.
I think so too.
Hi.
That was crazy.
Yeah?
That was crazy.
Yeah?
Like, that wasn't you talking at all.
I felt like I did a pretty good job of stepping back. There were a
Yeah.
couple times where I sensed my own like I never know what's going to come out of my mouth until it's coming out. And that's like a little weird, right? Because you don't know what's going to be said until it's kind of coming out and you're hoping that it's going to make sense. And so
Mhm.
I felt a couple times like my brain kind of trying to anticipate what he was going to say. But I thought I did a pretty good job of like staying back and letting him do his thing.
Because, like, I noticed with some of the words he was using, like, you would never say them. And, like, the times when I felt you were, like, when you, Amanda, were, like, kind of poking through, it was based on, like, word choice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I tried to remember it while it was happening. I'm like, I'm gonna remember to say this to her, but it was a word that was very, like, current. Like,
Sometimes they use my frame of reference,
okay.
right? Each channel has their frame of reference based on their life experience.
Mhm.
And so they have to use your frame of reference to send the message through, even if the information is new. And so that's probably, you're right, when I was kind of the moments where I was not as
Yeah.
surrendered. And so that's really interesting.
And then, like, you call me, you, like, do you know what you called me at one point? Do you know, like,
No.
you said my dear. And I'm like, you would never call me that ever. And, like, even when you smiled, it wasn't your smile. Cause, like, obviously I've known you for years. I know every muscle in your face. Like, that wasn't
Yeah.
how you usually smile, even.
Yeah, I'm like there when he's
Yeah.
talking, but I'm not like I never really remember. I have to watch it back to remember exactly what he said. I get the gist of it, but I don't remember everything.
Okay, so, like, when you're doing it, you're, like, not, I don't know, I kind of see it as, like, when you're a kid and you go on a road trip with your parents and, like, you're asleep in the back and they're driving the car and, like, you
Yeah.
kind of know, like, where they're going, but
Yes.
you don't really know. Is it kind of like
Yeah.
that?
It's
Okay.
exactly like that.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. Or like you have your headphones in and like you know that they're talking and you generally what they're talking about, but you're not 100% like
Like, you're
there.
not there, but you're going with
That's
them. Yeah.
exactly what it's like.
It
And
was so,
sometimes I will see visuals, like as they talk, they will show me visuals of what they're saying or what they're going to say next. But
mhm.
this time it was just like, it was like blackness.
Do you think this time felt really good because you and I know each other so well?
I think it's practice.
Mm.
I think it's definitely practice. Like the first few times where I did it by myself, I was so nervous, but for different reasons. And then I got comfortable with it. And then when I started filming myself doing it, then all the nerves came back because
Mhm.
there was more internal pressure to do a good job. Um, and then now that's kind of dissipated a little bit.
And what was I gonna ask? Like, did you know, like, did you realize that I asked a question that involved you?
Yes.
Okay. Because the
Yeah.
way he answered, it didn't exactly answer what I asked.
Okay.
I asked if he liked coming through you. And then he answered more about how you were doing, like how you felt doing it. how your journey with like learning it, and like that you're gonna get more comfortable, and that you don't see that yet, but you will get better at it. So he answered more about you when I really asked, like, does he like it? Like, does he like this process?
He was probably picking up on my insane discomfort with that question.
I was
And
debating whether to ask it or not. And I'm like, no, I should, because like maybe I don't know. I just wanted to hear the
yeah,
answer.
and he was just like, I'm going to be in better service if I just talk to her in this moment rather than talk about myself.
And then I also asked, what's it like where he was? Because I wanted
Yeah.
to know what he sees, like
Yeah.
when wherever he is, right? And then he like sent the question back to me, and he's like, when I go into a trance or like meditate or like feel like, like in that kind of state, what do I feel? And then he's like, that's what it's like for me, like what it'll be like for me, which I thought was really cool. So I guess you kind of just, when you're at your most I don't know, when you're at your most like core state, that's what it'll feel, what that place will feel like for you, which I thought was cool. So there's like it's different for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point that I never thought of. I always kind of imagined that they are literally love and that it would kind of feel the same for everybody, but that's not necessarily true. Everybody's, I guess, perception of what that feels like is different. And so your experience of what that might feel like and how that would feel for you would be a little bit different. And so it would feel different within you than it would feel within me. And so your experience of, you know, existence without a physical body might feel different too.
And then so then it got me thinking, like, if that's what that place will feel like for me, does that mean that in that realm or space or whatever will be filled with other people who also feel that way? Or is it just like a lonely existence where everyone kind of just like lives or exists in that space alone because they're the one who feels that way? Or is it like, if you think of like the top three ways you feel about it, or you feel, are you grouped with like all the other people that feel those top three ways? Like,
I guess these are questions for next time.
okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise it'd be so lonely, right? Like you feel totally at peace, but then like you're not with
I
others.
think that feeling of loneliness doesn't exist there.
Oh, interesting.
But I think that these are excellent questions for next time.
Okay.
And I think it's along the similar vein to why do humans feel so much like unworthiness? Why do we feel so lonely? I think it's a very similar question with this. I have a feeling the response is going to be a little similar, but I would hold on to that question and ask.
Yeah. Cause like, I don't know, I feel like loneliness would be similar to the love question that he asked me, or I asked him, I don't even know. Because it's like, are you really alone if you enjoy being with yourself? And I think it's like, well, do you love yourself? And then you won't feel alone. Like you won't feel lonely if you're alone,
Yeah.
if you love yourself. So like I think those two are very connected as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it when you've done it and like two archangels have come?
Like in me at the same time.
Or like you feel them like debating and like one answer will come out or something, or like that two have been present?
Yeah. Well, they're all here. And
Mm.
then I just invite him forward. And I think that he chose to speak today kind of like on behalf of them. And so I don't know exactly how it works, but I think that they kind of come together and kind of debrief on how they want to answer the question. And he's just the voice for the group. I think
Cool.
for today, that was kind of how they were going to do it.
And then like, can you ask them like not general questions like that? Can you say like, should I move countries? Like, can you ask stuff like that too?
You can ask whatever you want, but the response is not necessarily going to be what you expect it to be or what you want it to be.
Yeah, what you want for sure, but what do you mean by not expect?
the question should I do this? Should I do that? Should I say this? Should I say that? Isn't a very great question.
Because it's
Because
like a
that,
yes or no.
well, why should you do anything? Like, should? There's no should, right? It is, what do I desire? Does this make me
Right.
feel good? Like,
Like,
what do,
would I be happier if I blank? Like, is
and is
that
happiness really, like, what does that mean? What does that look like? And, um, like, what if that's not the goal? What if the goal is to experience or to experience if the soul is looking for growth, then maybe you'll have to go through something tumultuous in order to find happiness. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
really like, what do you want on the deepest, most fundamental level? And then that's typically what will be reflected back at you, regardless of the decision that you make.
So it's like asking a big general question like that and then kind of looking through the lens of that answer at like your smaller questions.
I think over time, through doing this, I have learned how to ask questions based on like my perspective of myself in life has changed so much that that's not even a question that I would ask because the question doesn't really make much sense. Like, I'm here because I want to experience life and I want to grow as a soul. And so, should I do this? Should I do that? Is a very outcome based question based
Yeah.
on my ego, my egoic desire. And that's not necessarily a question that will facilitate an answer that um, is helpful
Like that satisfies that core need or whatever.
or is helpful for my growth. Like if I'm outsourcing, should I do this? Should I do that? Like in outsourcing the answer to something outside of myself, and I am giving my power away. So they're never gonna answer a question and just tell you what to do ever.
Right. Because it's not
It's
helpful.
not for
It might not
your,
even be the thing you want, really.
it's not going to be in service to you. The whole point is for you to explore and discover yourself, what is for your highest and best. And so they will give you advice based on like, well, if you make this decision, maybe this is the experience that you might have. And if you make this decision, then maybe this is the experience that you might have. Make the decision based on that. They're
Right.
never going to tell you what to do. There is no right and wrong. That's also an illusion.
I think that's like for life too, though. It's just like experience.
Yeah.
Cool. This was really cool.
I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.
But thank you so much for doing this with me. And I hope
Let's
whoever's
do it.
watching that this was interesting for you too. And I'm looking forward to doing this again.
Yeah, for sure. This was great. I enjoyed
Thank
it
you,
very much.
Ashley.
I like watching it happen.
Yeah, I really appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Of course, of course. I appreciate you too.